What's going on, family? What's going on? What is happening out there on a Saturday? I hope y'all are having a restful and powerful Saturday. Y'all welcome in us, the plus 600 strong now, right? Who view, who listen to, who take to heart that which is this idea on this podcast called A Different View. Welcome in, family. Both old and new, to my day oneers and new ones that will listen to this podcast. Again, I reiterate, just to get the word out there for those who want to hear, again, a different view, to take in some different things. Again, here on this podcast, we kind of stay away from many of the, as you've heard me say, the tropes, the traps, the defenses in the mind that have been placed there by those who have some very bad intentions on the mind. Some very narrow-sighted intentions on the mind, right? It is what it is. We not out here to spread hate, violence of any sort like that, but we're going to point out the things where we have been missing it. Which leads into, this is going to be a short conversation. I'm not going to keep y'all long, and I know, right, there's sometimes I say that where that doesn't happen, and there's sometimes where it does. This is one of those where we are after the doing part, okay? The Bible talks about, right, being a listener, and we'll get more into these different types of things come tomorrow for the Sunday message, but being a listener and not a doer. Woo! And you got a lot. Many of them you're going to be sitting in them pew chairs next to come tomorrow, man. If y'all go to church, you're going to be sitting next to them folks in the pew tomorrow. But it is what it is. We love each other continuously. We defend each other continuously. We protect ourselves. And we make refuge and safe haven for those around us continuously, right? That's the name of the game. Dress and keep the planet. And again, in order to dress and keep this planet, you're going to have to keep the people and dress the people that are in this planet, right? So that's just that little thing. Y'all welcome in. I don't know. What do we talk about, family? Do we talk about the women? The folks don't understand the biology of women. They think they know so much, again, because they're above their creator at this point. Ah, man. Oh, see, KJ, science says this, that, and the other. Yes, science is what humans find out over time, right? So what you know now, you will not know tomorrow. You will find out more tomorrow, and so on and so forth, right? Again, you got to understand, you go back into society, another one of these things that we poo-poo, because you know, history is kind of, anyway, right? It's the way people look at it in their mind. Again, you've had many female, shout out to the ladies one time. We have had female-based societies, y'all. This is just life. Okay. See, again, a lot of people are not okay with life actually being life. They use their creative ability that's been given to them by their creator to create something else. No, it's no different than the Tower of Babel story, right? People are just not okay, and we're gonna keep it moving. And in an attempt to keep it moving, we make it worse. This is what it is. Then sometimes people get a hold of it. We're talking about from history now. I'm not talking about my conjecture. We're talking about what you see in history, man. So you got to have that Trojan horse thing, because takeovers got to occur. So you can't use that Trojan horse thing to set people free. No, you got to use it to bind them. See what I'm saying? You got to keep having war and bloodshed over something where if we share the thing, we'll be all right. And every once in a while, humanity gets it. Most of the time, though, we default to this death and violence. Which leads into this little topic here that we'll talk for a second or two, which is about civil war. And scrolling through my social medias, you continuously keep seeing this idea of people almost wanting this mess. We ain't learned nothing. We ain't learned nothing. Go back and look into the Civil War, ladies and gentlemen. Matter of fact, don't just do the North American one. Go to each planet. We'll leave that topic alone. Go to each nation's Civil War. Because it's not just America, right? They got, again, massa got you thinking everything is America. But go outside these four coasts primarily, and look and see what was going on around the world. You will find the same sickness, which is people not allowing each other to prosper and provide for each other, somebody got to monopolize the thing. And as soon as you monopolize that thing, a whole lot of mess occurs. And mass occurs, right? Yeah, a lot of mess in massing in the masses occurs. Massacre, right? Little fun wordplay there. See, again, y'all got to get used to your language. This language is I don't know. It's because of the equivocal part of it, man. It becomes very trashy, if I might be honest. What happens is that nothing means nothing, and that's a problem. Because you can't be a person that says I stand by my word and all this kind of stuff when the language you're speaking is very on shallow ground, as the Bible says, shaky ground, right? It's a house built on sand, y'all. And a lot of times we do the escapism DID thing because we don't want to look at it. But again, as we have made the reference on this podcast before, if you want to see what's going on with that dress before you go out in the street, you're going to have to look to see if there's tears, to see if there's, little holes somewhere. You might have to make that little quick stop to your sewing machine. If people still know how to sew anymore, right? It got you on that technology so much you're starting to lose some of the base things. And this is not a male or female thing. See, much like in the Olympics here with this sister here, I believe, from Algeria. Which again, we don't know nothing about the Algerian women, right? Because all it is, right, primarily Arabian, Muslim, right, Middle East. So y'all don't know nothing about that. Y'all don't know nothing about that. It's just this idea where we just kind of, or Northern Africa and all that kind of thing, and you just put away. You just in your mind, masters train you. I don't know nothing about them over there. Yeah, that's got to be a man. They ain't no look at that jawline. look at some of the look at some of these. Look. Come on, KJ, man. Wait for you get on. Look at some of this information now. This, that, and the other about whatever's in her DNA and in her genes and all that kind of thing. Again, people, you assume. You're assuming. One was pulled from one, y'all. Don't you think there's some similarity? Again, we've gone over this on this podcast before, but repetition is necessary for learning, right? You got to realize that if one is pulled from another, the other one going to look real similar at times, man. Yeah, it's going to be some differences. We get that part of it, see? But there's going to be some very similar. It's similar. It's similar. You get mustaches just the same. Talk to the ladies that got to deal with their facial hair. No, KJ, come on, man. The mans get real deep. See, again, when do we make the excuses go in the opposite direction? When do we do it? And because we don't do it, Master times in on it, and he got y'all dancing that dance real good, man. You dance it real good in your neighborhood. You dance it real good when you go shopping in the supermarket and in all these different various stores. You dance it real good at work. You dance it real good in your home with your families. So again, this is why I make a joke of it, but in part of it not really a joke. It's because it's the real raw truth. You working the game good when we do this mess that we're doing, y'all. These excuses that we keep making, man, is working for them, not you. So you keep on with it, and you get your little piece of the pie. Some people are okay with that. For those here on this podcast who are not, we continue to go further, right? They don't need to be disrespectful and call people names and all that mess. That's no. You want to talk about talking about civil war. Ain't nothing civil about sitting there calling people names. Y'all folks think differently. People think differently. It is what it is. So yeah, shout out to that Olympic boxer, Olympian, right? Olympian Triss, or however you want to say it, right? Again, because we don't give credit to women, so we keep coming up with these different things that have S, so on, so forth on the ends of words here, because we just lump it all under men because it's a man-based society. Again, God did not make a man-based society. People started making it man-based. I gotta say it again. Oh, come on, KJ. The man was in the garden and God talked to him and told him what to do. What happened after that, y'all? Hold on. See, this is where we miss it. What happened after that, y'all? What happened after that? And that is where this is what I'm talking about. We do this DID thing. You need help, y'all, right? Right? Put Adam to sleep. Got to put you to sleep. Got to get you out the way in order to understand something. Yes, Lord. Hey. Got to get you out of the way for you to be able to understand something. So, God put you to sleep. Take your own body parts to make somebody new. This is the creator we talking about, y'all. My way is a higher, right? Talking about God. See, we miss it. That's all right. Because we can always pick it up again. And this is that time. If you want to get higher, if you want to grow higher, if you want to, again, start in business and stuff like that, you got to get over these things to be able to operate with people properly so you can profit correctly, right? And so you can help them profit correctly. So, yeah, that's just that on that. We got to give credit to where credit is due. Talking about women doing male type stuff that men think women can't do other than baking biscuits and having babies. Is this sister here in the Olympics that just won a gold medal for that powerlifting, that weightlifting? Something y'all can look up online. It's a fairly recent thing because I believe it just happened as of yesterday, right? Shout out to your sis. I believe she came from Tennessee. You know, team US, right? Doing that thing, man. Doing that thing. You know, men's basketball got a little scared. Just talking about the Olympics for a second and some things here that deal with people that we keep doing these misnomers on, right? Team Serbia almost did. Yeah, again, teamwork will get you through, man. See, people look at that dream team in 92 and they don't realize that you look more to the individual instead of the power team. The will to win. And nobody touched him as a result. Also, the time of the planet at that time, most of the talent was in the United States. Now what has happened, because again, we like to hold down certain sets of people, and there's certain things that are going on behind the scenes with the NBA that certain people will pay attention to and certain won't, like most of life. It's the same thing with the migrant thing, y'all. Again, and we'll take the time to talk on this for a second as we're at 12 minutes. So this idea here that the migrant thing, you use one group of people, which hurts them, by the way, to drown out other ones. This gets over in some stuff with your government, but again, you need to be involved in your government. This idea where people are supposed to sit back and not be involved does not work. It doesn't matter whether it's sports, it doesn't matter whether it's government, crocheting, dancing. Like professional dancing and all about ballroom dancing. It doesn't matter what it is. If you don't get involved, you get nothing. Okay, you get very little. You got to get involved. Okay. The ostrich, the head in the sand ain't gonna work. So, and to each their own. I will always say that on this podcast, but it's not gonna work. To the church, if we want to go, to Christians, our Christian brothers and sisters, and this is for every religion, by the way. If you want to go higher, you're gonna have to start challenging that what you've been taught. Sorry. Again, specifically speaking toward the Christian, if you're told to study to show thyself approved, if you're told to test the spirits, then that's telling you something. That's God telling you something. It's the Creator telling you something. And we need to listen. That's all. So if you want to keep going on with what's a tradition and what's a church father and all these other things and what my grandpappy did for 40 years, that don't do nothing but do for them, got nothing to do with you. Again, what worked for them may not work for you. Some of it will, maybe a lot of it will, not all of it. No one has truth in mass 100% correct. Nobody, not me, not you, not nobody. Except the one above us all. Okay? And it's important for us to get it that we don't keep making the same mistakes, to understand the thing, to realize and relearn some stuff. And especially when you look at certain, before we finish up here today. This idea here with generations and understanding the mindset in people, because again, it is thoughts that is driving people. The information that you get then creates thought. People either hold on to those thoughts and then do things from them, or they readjust their thinking, so on and so forth, right? And then different actions occur. So the information that we've been getting, you got to ask, is that 100%? Is a woman only good for your kitchen? and your bedroom. Is that it, y'all? Especially if you need help in this life. Is that it? Does she have room in the office? Does she have room on the basketball court, on the baseball field? We talked about the one sister with me playing this MLB show. Shout out to you, Miss Stone, right? Tony Stone. Marcinia, I believe was her first name, doing that thing, that sister, right? We know about the movie A League of Their Own, playing off of that little trope a little bit with baseball, with men and women, right? We got to put a lot of this to bed, y'all. Otherwise, we're not going to go that far. Which, and again, we've taken a few steps. We ain't went that far yet. We have not went that far. So, something I want to make a little bit of a correction here before talking about sports and sports entertainment. Getting into the WWE, I kept calling Gunther. Gunther. That's not the name, right? So we want to give proper credit to where credit is due. Gunther is how you say that German brother's name. So just wanted to correct that there. So certain things on this life, y'all, we gotta start. I understand this whole thing with I know people don't really care that much for seeing women in general. We just want to say what it is. Okay, again, other than them in the bedroom in a certain position for you, we don't care. It's right, gentlemen. We got to get to a certain point here. Okay, there's no need to do the dance like that ain't the case, because again, in your actions is where it shows anyway. So whether you say it out the mouth or not really doesn't matter. Eventually, people pick up on it, which is why you see the revolution you see today with the kids, and that's where we're gonna end on this. Shout out to you kids, man. Shout out to y'all. It's difficult in this life to stand up in boldness. It is. But it's necessary. Honor and respect to your parents is paramount. I want to start off there. For people in general. See, again, each generation falls away from that more and more and more. We need to have more respect for each other. And maybe we would have less of these wars, civil wars and violence all over the place if we had more respect for each other. We'd leave each other alone. We'd help each other to go on about our own business, and we'd go on about our own. I do believe life is on balance and a scale, ladies and gentlemen, and eventually we will get there. It's happened in history before. It'll happen again, because it's the pattern of people. 40 and 50-year-olds normally, ladies and gentlemen, right now is now, of course, with greed, they have mixed in our 60-year-old and sometimes 70-year-old brothers and sisters, right? Human brothers and sisters. However, 40 and 50-year-old, that's where you got, that good twilight of strength to get, if you want to say it that way. They're the movers and shakers. Probably your 30s are also in there now as technology and things have taken over. So your 2000s babies, all that, that's just where it's at, right? The generation that is the 40 and 50-year-olds, right? That's Generation Xers, as they talk about. Shout out to DX one time, right? D-Generation X, because again, a lot of this mess is trash anyway, so it's apropos to have that group. You got to understand that this is not what you think it is, y'all. Okay? The stuff that our parents learned was highly, highly, highly poisoned in the mind. Women are not supposed to just be sitting there, Susie Homemaker, I'm sorry. But if you got an environment where y'all want more and more and more, you're going to have everybody there. Or you have to scale it back. It's the part people going to want to do. They want to keep this thing the way it is. But again, it ain't going to work that way. You're not going to outdo God. You're not going to outdo God, right? So there's a certain pattern and pace to life. And us trying to pull a Tower of Babel here is causing us to be in the doctor's office more than we should. Be in the broke house more than we should. We ain't got no money. We ain't got no health. We're in the therapist chair more than we should be. Not to say that therapy is wrong. I'm saying we're not doing what's necessary to keep our mental right. So this is where we're at. This is just where it's at. Because again, we're not playing the game by its rules. So. But there is a light that shines in the darkness, y'all. You gotta, as much as we give this information about what's going on wrong, there is also what is there right to change it. And it happens when you stand up against the status quo and you start speaking out against it. That's one of the starter points, right? So that is what I got for y'all today. I hope that you learned something today. Just a little short little ditty. And as always, and until next time, look to find the beauty in a different view.